Today we're going to make a simple jam sponge. This is the basic sponge that's the basis of a lot of other cakes, like say the chocolate cake. You can make a coffee cake, you can make a lemon cake, but this is the basic, the blank canvas that you start off with. And the only flavoring we will use is vanilla essence. Other than the simple ingredients that we know already: margarine, castor sugar, self-raising flour, and 4 eggs. Now the measure is 8 ounces or 235 grams of the 3 ingredients: the margarine, the castor sugar, and the self-raising flour. So the first thing we do is I've already put the margarine and the sugar in the bowl, and we cream those up, and that's the start of the process. The only other ingredients on the table will be the jam, which is for the middle of the cake. That's for after the cake is cooked, and icing sugar for the top of the cake. This is a brilliant starter cake for people inexperienced with baking. This will start you off, and if you do this 2 or 3 times, you will become an expert. You just have to make sure that the sugar and the margarine are well creamed together. That's that done. Now the next thing we do is we add the wet ingredients, which is the 4 eggs. And we put a few drops of vanilla essence. Now, when I say a few drops, you maybe put 5 or 6 drops of this, not quite half a teaspoonful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's enough flavoring for this cake. So you beat this around until the eggs are well incorporated in the mix. Now the next thing we do, sieve the flour into this. As always, when you're sifting flour in, you lift it as high as you can from the bowl to get as much air into the mix as you can. That's the whole secret of the sifting. What we do now is we gently incorporate the flour into the mix, and the reason you do it gently is you're trying to keep the air that you've put in by sifting the flour into the mix. You're trying to keep that in the mix, and you'll see the mix coming together. And what happens is that as soon as the wet ingredients hits the raising agent in the flour, the air becomes incorporated in the mix and it becomes a lighter mix. We split the mix between the 2 tins that have been prepared with parchment paper, and I split it half and half as best you can. You try and do it as even as you can get. Put these into the oven at 170 for 35 minutes. And remember, don't open the door of the oven until after the 35 minutes is up, all right? Now, there we are. Now we just take these, lift these out of the tin for the moment, and get rid of the tins. Take the paper off these now and place them on the cooling tray. Now the beauty about this cake is that we don't have to wait until they cool down to do the next part. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put raspberry jam, which seems to be the best sort of jam for this purpose. I'm going to spread jam on each half, and then we can assemble the cake immediately. For most other cakes you have to wait for them to cool down, but not for this one. So you can spread a good lot of jam on each section, and try to get the jam around the edges as well, as much as you can. Now I can place these onto the serving tray already. And what we'll do is we'll marry the 2 together. And then for the finishing touch, we get the icing sugar. Now you only need a little, half a spoonful of icing sugar. Okay. And there you have it, a delicious jam sandwich.